CBS News investigation looks at how hard it is for the U.S. government to discipline or fire employees who behave badly. Examples range from extravagant to explicit. Don Dalo shows us how civil service rules meant to protect public workers from political pressure may be backfiring and costing you big. Don, good morning.
Good morning. In the private sector, if you're caught viewing porn or on company time or intimidating a coworker, you'd probably be fired immediately. Not so if you're a federal employee.
At the Environmental Protection Agency, red tape is preventing the removal of a top-level employee accused of viewing porn 2 to 6 hours a day while at work since 2010. Even though investigators found 7,000 pornographic files on his computer and even caught him watching porn, he remains on the payroll.
This person's on administrative leave with pay. Why didn't you fire this person?
I actually have to work through the administrative process, as you know.
That administrative process is the Civil Servant Protection System, rules to prevent against politically motivated firings. They give employees the right to appeal a termination, a process that can take up to 2 years.
There's a big difference between trying to protect against that and what we have today.
Max Steyer, head of the nonprofit Partnership for Public Service, says those rules make it nearly impossible to fire poor performers or problematic employees, even when they've committed egregious violations.
Many managers would like to get rid of problem employees and find that they have to go through a challenging process.
A CBS News analysis of cases under review by the Merit System Protection Board, or MSPB, an appeals board for federal workers, found other instances of employees who had committed seemingly fireable offenses, but were later reinstated to their jobs, often with back pay and interest.
We're at the WRC tonight.
Highly publicized cases like this outing in Las Vegas are no exception.
And tonight.
3 years ago, the General Services Administration spent more than $800,000 on the lavish Vegas conference. 1,000 sushi rolls costing $7 apiece were served, and a clown and mind reader were hired for entertainment. 2 managers were initially fired, but got their jobs back after the MSPB reversed the decision.
What does it take to actually be fired from the GSA?
There's a longstanding due process that career employees are entitled to as part of their employment. We've begun that process among other disciplinary actions for several individuals that were involved in planning and execution of this conference.
The appeals board found that while the conference's level of extravagance has no place in government, the GSA did not convincingly prove that the 2 managers knew or had reason to know of these ill-advised planning and purchasing decisions. The GSA was ordered to cancel the appellants' removals and give them back pay plus interest. Meanwhile, the organizer of the convention was allowed to retire. Firing belligerent or hostile workers is difficult, too. One former manager told us he tried for more than a year to fire an employee who was intimidating coworkers and superiors, at one point even chasing a manager down the hall. Upset about being reprimanded, the employee sent him numerous menacing emails, including this one. "I can stand over you, too. I am 6'3" and I weigh 265, and I am not backing down. And by the way, I do know where you live."
If you consider administrative leave and the general cost of the procedure itself, how much is this costing the taxpayers?
There's no question that taxpayers are losing, hundreds of millions of dollars in a conservative estimate. More than that, though, because they're losing the ability to get the very best out of government.
Congressman Jason Chaffetz hopes to change that.
We're going to pass a series of pieces of legislation that deal with some of these specific things like pornography, and at some point just common decency and a recognition that if you're not doing your job and you're creating a hostile work environment, you got to go.
On average, about 6,000 terminations are appealed each year. About half of those are related to misconduct and poor performance.
One of those things, Don, that makes no sense.
It doesn't.
I just heard everything you said. I'm still going, huh?
Yeah. Well, it was set up initially to protect employees when there's a new administration from a different party that comes in so that you can't have vengeance firings. But it's really become abused.
Yeah, it's gone all the way to the other side. Thank you, Don.